Hello everyone, it's Steve here from the School Locker, and we've put together a special online workshop for you to get the absolute best out of your iPads. You might be a teacher, you might be a teacher's aide, you might be a parent, you might even be a student trying to get some ideas about the best outcomes possible for your assignment. Well, we're going to talk about some really important workflows, some really engaging and free apps for education, and we're going to be talking about how you can put it together and get the absolute best out of your iPad. So follow along, get your iPad out and have a great time. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure everyone's on the same page. It's really important that we know how to save images to the camera roll. So I'm going to open up Safari, this little icon right at the bottom, and it's going to take me to Google, and I'm going to type in a keyword for a unit of work that I might be studying with my students. I'm just going to make up a unit around rainforests here. So I'm going to type that in and press go, and it brings up rainforests. And then I'm going to click on images, which will bring up a whole bunch of photos on images. Now, it's important that you talk to them about copyright and they don't just save any image in there. So you can actually filter copyright images by simply clicking on the tools icon, which is right up here in the middle and at the top there, and that will bring down another menu. And in this menu right in the middle it says usage rights. So if I click on usage rights, I get an extra menu that pops up, and I can talk to my students about getting copyright free images. And one of those options there, sort of towards the bottom, says labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification. So if I click on that one, this will actually bring up a whole bunch of rainforest images that have already been filtered. A lot of these are from Creative Commons and websites like Flickr, and so I can actually then choose an image and have already had that discussion about copyright. So I click on that rainforest one. That's quite a nice one. Now, if I wanted to save that to my iPad, it's important that we know how to get that into the camera roll. There's a few ways to do that. You can do screenshots, but the most effective and efficient way of doing this is to actually hold one finger on the image and you hold it down and it brings up a pop-up menu. Now on this menu, there's a few different options. Third from the bottom there, it says add to photos, and that will actually save it to the camera roll if I choose that one. If I choose copy, I can then paste it into a document, but I really like adding this to my camera roll. So I'm going to press add to photos, and that actually then goes into this little digital flower at the bottom here. This is my camera roll. If I click on that, I can see that that rainforest image has now been saved in the bottom right corner. So if I click on that, it's a beautiful image, and I'm ready to now use that and put that into my book creator or Keynote or Pages or whatever document that you're trying to use. Photos are great, they're great for things like backgrounds, but if you want super engagement, then have a look at an app called Clips. This is a really great thing for students or children doing assignments or presentations. If you don't know where Clips is on an iPad, if you're searching for any app, on the home page here, you can just scroll down, it brings up a search menu, and if I just start typing in the name of an app like Clips, you can see that it's brought it up, and I just click on it and it opens up. So this is a great app. I'm going to turn my iPad here to the side, and I have just gone into the star button, and you can choose different types of effects. So you might want a cow or a mouse, or I really like this one here, the shark. So if I was doing a Great Barrier Reef assignment, I can actually activate the camera and choose the shark. It's pretty good if you stick out your tongue. You can start to do your presentation. Hi, my name's Steve, and this is my Great Barrier Reef assignment. And did you know that the Great Barrier Reef is on the east coast of Australia from blah, 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 and you just do your presentation as if you're a shark or some kind of other animated object, and that is a fantastic way of getting some better engagement with your boring PowerPoint presentations. You could do this instead of a boring PowerPoint or just a boring slide. If I just press the X button there, I'm going to click on this little red button in the middle, and I click and hold that down, and that starts recording whatever I'm saying. So hello, this is my presentation. When I've finished, I just release, and then I just click on my little shark icon in the bottom left corner. There we go. And this is ready to go now. So if I press done, and then I press the share button in the bottom right corner, this will allow me to, hey, where do you want to save this to? So I just go, okay, I want to save this video. And this also, just like our rainforest photo, has just saved to the camera roll. And now this is ready to import into our future presentations. We're going to talk a little bit about some fantastic content creation apps. Now that we have a little bit of material saved to our camera roll, we can start to import that into something like an ebook creator. I'm going to open up this app that I really like called Book Creator. It's quite a popular app. I also like Pages and Keynote. I think they're fantastic too. And the functionality of these apps are quite similar actually in many regards, but I'm going to open up Book Creator and show you this app. Now there's a free version of this app which only allows one book at a time. The paid version obviously has unlimited amounts of books. And once you open it up, we're just going to click on New Book in the top right corner, and we're going to choose an aspect ratio. Now, portrait and landscape are the two most popular ones. I really like landscape mode. Landscape is probably the most popular aspect ratio for most of the education apps, but as you saw before in the Clips app, that was actually for portrait mode. But we're going to click on landscape here. And then we're going to try and start adding content in there. Now with most of these content creation apps, you get the symbol, which is generic. It's called the plus button or the add button. And we can see that we've got a list of different things here. If I wanted to add in my rainforest picture that we saved earlier, I'm going to click on photos, and that will take me to my camera roll. And as you can see in recents there is our rainforest picture. So I can just click on that and it fills up the screen there. I can make that bigger or smaller just by clicking on these blue buttons. If I wanted to add a little bit of a text box above it, I can click on plus again. I might go to add text, click on that, and then type in Steve's presentation on rainforests. Fantastic, press done. Now that looks a little bit small and doesn't look very appealing, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, so I might drag that box across just to fill the top there. And now if you have added something, you can change something by clicking on that little I button in the top right corner. That's called the inspector button. Some people call it the information button, but it's actually technically called the inspector. And when I click on that, it allows me to change something. So we've got the plus button to add something, and then we've got the I or the inspector to change something that we've already added. So in this particular case, I'm going to make this text a little bit bigger, like maybe about that big, and then I'm going to go down to the color option down here. I'm going to change that, and I might make that green to fit with my presentation. Okay, so I might just move that up a little bit, and I think that looks quite good. Now we could draw on top of this rainforest. We might be doing a presentation and we're trying to highlight a log or something like that, so I might press plus, go to my pen option. I could just start scribbling now and it would come down as black, but I'm going to click on this little black color option, and I'm going to change that to maybe red to make it nice and clear. And I might be talking about this broken log here, so I'm going to highlight that particular area, and when I press done, you can see that that actually looks quite good. I can also add an audio narrative into this presentation, so I can do that simply by clicking on the plus button and going down to the bottom there where it says add sound, and when I click on add sound, it activates the microphone and I'm ready to record. So if I start recording here, hello, this is Mr. Steve's presentation on rainforests. If I press stop, it gives me a little audio icon which appears in the middle of the screen there. Now I can make that bigger or smaller just by clicking on that and dragging it, and I can place that wherever I want in the screen. So this is a really nice way of doing narrative instead of just having to do text or just writing it in or scribbling it in with your fingers. You can record audio. It's also a fantastic thing if you're a teacher or a parent and you're trying to give your student or your child some formative feedback. You can record some of the feedback as an audio file and put that into their presentation. I really love that feature. So now, how would I get videos into this particular page? Well, we just recorded that picture of a shark, which actually was my Great Barrier Reef unit. So I might create a new page here by clicking on that right arrow. So I'm going to click on the right there. And then I go, okay, well, I want to get a Great Barrier Reef background for this particular page. So we're just going to go and do what we originally did. Go to Safari. We might go to the top here and type in Great Barrier Reef, and then we're going to choose an image. Of course, we're already on the copyright option here, and so I'm going to go, okay, well, what's a good background picture for my shark? Let's click on this one here. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to choose that background again. I'm going to save that to my camera roll, add to photos, and now when I go back to Book Creator, okay, I'm going to press plus, go to my photos, go into that picture I just saved. There it is. It looks quite good. Now I'm going to put this little shark animation just in the middle of the screen here. So I'm going to press plus button, of course, go to my camera roll at the top there, and then go to recents and choose the shark. There it is. And I'm going to import that in. And there is my video. So now I can put that anywhere I want on the page. If I press play as I'm doing my presentation, and I click and hold that down, and that starts recording whatever I'm saying. So, and if I wanted to make that full screen while it's playing, I can just click on the little arrow icon, and that will make it full screen. So if I press play, and I click and hold that down, and that starts recording whatever I'm saying. So hello, this is my presentation. Okay, so it's very easy to use Book Creator, and you can basically add anything into your book just by simply pressing on the plus button. Now there's a few other things that I can add into the book. I can also click on the shared button, okay, and I can add in links to other websites, and maybe you've got a virtual reality model or a 3D model. In fact, I've got one over here. If I click on this one over here, this was just a model I copied from a website called Sketchfab, which was just sketchfab1word.com, and I just copied the URL from the model and stuck it into the book. And so then when I go to press play on this book, okay, I can actually click on the model, and the model will pop up in the middle of the book here. And then I've got a 3D model that I can show my students as I'm reading through my book, which is an incredible way of getting them engaged. If I'm sort of zoom in there, you can see I've got this beautiful 3D model now popping out of my book. Okay, so that's Sketchfab. It's a really cool app as well. We won't go into that right now though. And finally, how do we get a YouTube clip into our book? This is really actually very easy. All we need to do is get out of the book. So I'm just going to go back to Safari again, and I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm just going to type in maybe something like Great Barrier Reef. Let's do that, Great Barrier Reef. And then we're just going to select a clip. I like this one here from National Geographic, so I'm going to click on that one. Okay, and then all we need to do is copy the URL. So I'm just going to go to the very top of the screen here and click on that and press copy. So you just highlight, it's already highlighted, so all I need to do is click on it and press copy. And then I simply go back to Book Creator. Okay, and now when we press plus, you go down to the bottom where it says more, right in the middle there, it says more. And then one of the options there is web embed. So if I click on web embed, then it automatically pastes whatever you've copied last. So if you've copied that YouTube clip, then it will automatically appear there. All I need to do then is press next. And all I need to do now is press done, and I'm ready to go. So I can resize that, I can fill the screen if I want to. So as I'm flicking through the book, there's my last page, middle page, that's my first page. And when I get to this page and the student is flicking through the book, reading it, they can just click on the book, press play, and it starts playing the Great Barrier Reef clip. It actually gets rid of all the commercials at the start, which is fantastic, and puts the YouTube clip into the Book Creator document ready to go. And even when you share it, it will share that. Now you do need internet access to access this particular function. Last but certainly not least, it's very, very important that we can share our work back to students, share our work back to teachers and back to parents, and they might have some feedback they want to give to the student, and then they want to send it back. So how do you share your document after you've finished collating all of this beautiful work that you put together into one document? Well, in the top right corner, if you're in the read to me mode, or if you just press the play button, you can see there's a little share icon that appears, and if I click on that, it gives me a few different options here. It's really important that if we want to keep all of our beautiful work, our videos and our audio files, that we use the top option, which is export as an EPUB, electronic publishing file. That is going to keep all of those files. If we use export as a PDF, you're going to lose all of that beautiful audio and videos that you've done. So I'm going to click on export as an EPUB. And then I get a few options here. Now, you might have Google Drive, you might have OneDrive. There's a whole bunch of different options here. If you don't see the particular learning management system that you might usually use at your school, it could be because you need to scroll all the way across and click on the More button. Now, you won't obviously be able to use AirDrop if you are sharing to someone that's not in the same room as you. So between a parent and a child, that's no problems at all. If you've both got an iPad to a Mac, for example, the parent might have a Mac, you could absolutely use AirDrop. But if you're going to send this to a teacher in another area, you might be learning or working from home, then you need to click on the More button, and that will open a list of different apps. Now, this should cover pretty much all of the learning management system apps you have on the iPad. For example, you can see there's Google Drive at the top there, and if I scroll down, you might be using Classroom, you might be using Seesaw, you might be using Shobi. A lot of schools in Queensland, for example, use Office 365. They have OneDrive accounts, and so I could use copy to OneDrive, and that would actually then open up my OneDrive app, and as long as you're logged in, you can choose where you want to save that. So you might want to save that into a particular folder called, Class 4B, and there it goes, and you just save it into there. And that's a great way of getting your information up into the cloud. You can mark it, and then later on you can open it up and then send it back to that student. You, of course, can use email. So if I go back to Book Creator and I press the share button again, you can see that the second option there is to use the mail button, and that would just attach it as an email, and then I can send it to the student. If they're really large files, like more than 15 megabytes, for example, then you're gonna have to use something like a learning management system of some sort, okay? So that is a really great way of getting your beautiful work all collated into one document and then shared to other students, to other teachers. Students can work collaboratively online on projects, and then they can share those projects to each other and then submit it as an assessment or whatever to the teacher. So it's a really great workflow. You can include any animation app, any kind of art app, anything that you can save to the camera roll can ultimately be put back into Book Creator. And then once they're finished, they'll have a beautiful book and assignment that they can read through, and it's a great way of submitting homework and a great way of utilizing lots and lots of different apps on an iPad into one app. So hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Please stay safe, have a great time learning from home, explore all the different beautiful, amazing content creation apps that are out there. There's a lot of them, and we're going to create more videos as time goes on stop motions and doing green screens using iMovie and a whole bunch more. Have a great day.